Did you hear that? Neither did I. I was just wondering. Hi, this is Neil Sun Dynasty. Please like, share, and subscribe. Be kind, helpful, and grateful. That's what I heard. Well, I thought it was you at first, but it's this one. Anyhow, be kind, helpful, and grateful because it's better than being a jerk. There's enough jerks out there. You know what I mean. And this is some sound advice, not financial in the least. It's sound advice. Buy some silver, some platinum, and some crystallized osmium. Things they are changing. That's not what this is about. This is from Easy Africa. ASE in shock as ECOWAS set to launch common currency. Dun dun dun. What the heck's that mean? I don't know. Let's find out together.
Around ECOWAS.
Let me turn the volume
to
up.
accelerate the adoption of the eco currency. Could this sudden urgency be an attempt to undermine the newly formed Sahel States Confederation, also known as the Alliance of Sahel States, AES? The AES, comprised of Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger, has been making waves in its bid for true independence, free from the economic shackles of the CFA franc. With ECOWAS fast-tracking the ECO, we have to ask, is this just another tactic by France and its loyal allies, like Alassane Ouattara of Ivory Coast, to maintain their control over West Africa? Let's dig deeper into this complex issue. Before we understand why the push for the ECO is raising suspicions, we must first explore the background of the CFA franc. The CFA franc, used by several West and Central African nations, was created by France during its colonial rule.
California wildfires are different today.
After these nations gained independence, the CFA franc remained tightly linked to France. It's important to note that France continues to print the currency, and a large portion of the reserves from these nations are held in the French treasury. In theory, the CFA franc provides financial stability, but in practice, it keeps these nations economically dependent on France. Before we continue, just a gentle reminder to like and share our videos.
For his channel
Also,
and mine.
Subscribe to the channel to stay informed on the latest African economic, political, and social developments, and explore how global geopolitics impact the continent.
Me too, but
Now
geopolitics affecting the
For
world.
many, the CFA franc has long been seen as a tool of exploitation, a way for France to maintain control over the economies of its former colonies. This control goes beyond mere monetary policy. By having a say in how these countries manage their financial systems, France can influence their economic growth, or lack thereof. It's no surprise, then, that there has been a growing movement in West Africa to break free from the CFA and adopt a new currency, one that is truly independent of French influence. ECOWAS has been discussing a common currency for over 20 years, with the goal of creating a single currency to enhance regional trade and economic stability. The ECO was supposed to be that currency. However, despite numerous promises and deadlines, its launch has been postponed multiple times. The latest target date for the ECO is 2027. Now, suddenly, Côte d'Ivoire's President Alassane Ouattara is pushing to bring that date forward to 2026. Ouattara is a known ally of France, linked to France. They want true financial sovereignty, not another French-controlled currency disguised as progress. The ECO may sound like a good idea on the surface, but for the AES, it represents more of the same, a way for France to maintain its grip on the region's economy. What does the ECO really offer? Let's take a closer look at what the ECO could offer West African nations. In theory, a common currency would make trade easier, reduce transaction costs, and create more economic stability. Countries like Nigeria, Ghana, and Côte d'Ivoire are seen as the main drivers behind this initiative, with Nigeria playing a particularly crucial role due to its large economy. However, there are significant challenges to adopting the ECO. For one, the economic conditions across West Africa vary widely. Countries like the Gambia, Liberia, and Sierra Leone are still struggling to meet the convergence criteria necessary for adopting the currency. Inflation rates, exchange rate volatility, and budget deficits all pose serious obstacles. Even if these hurdles are overcome, The real question is whether the ECO can truly be independent. Many experts are skeptical. They argue that the ECO, like the CFA franc before it, will remain tied to the euro and, by extension, to France. This means that West African nations will continue to be subject to French monetary policy, even if they are no longer using the CFA franc. In contrast to ECOWAS's ECO, the AES states are pursuing their own currency, one that is not tied to France or the euro. This represents a bold step toward true economic independence. By creating their own financial systems, the AES nations hope to break free from the neo-colonial structures that have held them back for so long. The recent actions taken by Niger, Burkina Faso, and Mali show just how serious they are about this. From revoking French mining licenses to expelling foreign troops, these nations are determined to take control of their own futures. They've also been forming new partnerships with countries like Russia and China, further diversifying their economic ties and reducing their dependence on the West. Russia, in particular, has been a key player in this shift. Through BRICS, Russia has been promoting the idea of de-dollarizing the global economy. By creating alternative financial systems, BRICS aims to reduce the world's reliance on the US dollar and, by extension, on Western financial institutions like the IMF and the World Bank. For AES nations, this offers a new model of economic cooperation, one that is not dominated by Western powers. As we've seen, AES nations are not just looking to break free from French influence, they are also looking to diversify their economic partnerships. This is where BRICS comes in. Russia, along with China and other BRICS members, has been advocating for a new global financial system, one that is not reliant on the
Okay, I got something to say on that. He explained BRICS very well for all you people that think there's going to be an actual currency. It is a financial system of trade and transfer of funds. It is not a currency. As you've just heard, the three leaders here of Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger, they want their own sovereign currency backed by gold. They don't even want to be part of the ECOWAS bill that's coming out that 12 West African countries are kind of sort of pushing for. So it's not, BRICS is not anything more than you have to use a system of trade other than the quote unquote SWIFT system. And I think what you're going to find is BRICS is going to come out with a quote unquote SWIFT system of their own called the BRICS SWIFT system or whatever, but it's going to be highly flawed. And then what we'll do is we'll revise our SWIFT system, get a new regime in, put in rules in place where things can't be done, and everyone will stay on the dollar. Wow, hold on. Does that mean I just thought the whole process through to a very possible and probable end outcome? Oh yes, Neil, you did. I hope the rest of you come to that conclusion as well if you look that far enough in advance to see what's going on. America's not falling, people.
US dollar or West.
These people here are saying the US dollar is not going to fall because they want their own currency. They just want they want a form of fair trade settlement, quote unquote SWIFT or BRICS systems, to be able to do exchanges from country to country. They don't want anyone to determine their monetary policies. And if the SWIFT system has rules engaged to it where it can't be done, as Joe Biden showed it can be, then everything will be fine on the Western Front for a few years. But let's get back to the story, because that's not what this is about.
Western-controlled institutions. For AES nations, this offers a way out of the neo-colonial trap. By aligning themselves with BRICS, they can tap into new sources of investment and financial support. Russia, for example, has been providing military aid to Niger and Burkina Faso, helping them to defend their sovereignty. China, meanwhile, has been investing in infrastructure projects across Africa,
and that's a damn
providing
shame
much
because
needed
they don't know how to build.
The idea of de-dollarization is particularly appealing to AES nations. By moving away from the US dollar and Western financial institutions, they can create their own.
See, now here's another narrative he's pushing. They are not moving away from the US dollar. They are moving away from the French euro franc. How is the franc in France tied to the dollar. It's tied to the euro. So you got to understand words are important when people give these reports. It really bothers me when I hear that. There's like, oh, the ASC is looking to break away from the dollar. But he just told you they're looking to break away from the ECOWAS, which is the French monetary system, has nothing to do with America. Also something to think about. When you hear people talk, listen to their words.
Own financial systems, ones that are not subject to foreign control, perfectly with their broader goal of achieving true economic independence. In the end, the push for the ECO is about...
Hold on a second there. True economic independence. So they're coming up with their own sovereign monetary system and bill system based off of their commodities in their countries so that they can keep their sovereignty, and they want to remain free. So do you really think they're only going to go with the BRICS system, or will they actually probably use both? I know if I was a third world country and I saw the two bullies fighting, I'd be like, hey, I'm going to tap in 10% to you and 10% to you so that way I can get worldwide trade through both systems, and I'll be sitting pretty. Also something else to think about. But this video's gone too long, so I'm going to end it here. You guys have a nice night.